Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer woes. This is Evening 5. The Civil Aviation Authority in Malaysia has revoked the Air Operator's Certificate of Troubled Low-Cost Carrier MYAirline effective April 15th after it failed to find a new investor before the April 14th deadline. This means MYAirline will have to reapply for the AOC and the air service license from the aviation regulators, namely from CAM, the Technical Aviation Regulator, and from Malaysian Aviation Commission if it hopes to restart services, a process that can be long and tedious. On October 12 last year, MYAirline abruptly halted its operations, citing financial pressures less than a year after it began flying. Both MATCOM and CAM had maintained that there were no signs of financial and operational distress in MYAirline prior to the suspension. In fact, just 3 days before the airline's decision to suspend its operations indefinitely, CAM had given the thumbs up to the airline's air safety, security and operational proficiency for another 2 years. CAM had extended the suspension period twice. To fly, airlines need both an AOC and an air service license. MYAirline's ASL expired on November 14th, 2023. CAM CEO Datuk Captain Nur Azam Mahmud told The Edge that there will be no more extension of MYAirline's AOC, but that it is keeping the required post holders for reapplication. Nur Azman also said that the airline no longer has any aircraft registered with CAM. A MYAirline spokesman confirmed that CAM had revoked the airline's AOC on April 15th, but that it still harbors hopes of securing a new investor to revive its operations. Several important developments related to Digital Nasional, including the appointment of its board members and the direction of the agency, will be announced on Thursday, said Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil. Bernama quoted Fahmi, who is also the spokesman for the unity government, as saying that PM Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim in Wednesday's cabinet meeting emphasised the implementation of the 5G network in the country. He said that among the matters agreed is for Digital Minister Gobind Singh Dio to attend an event with DNB in Penang, where he will make some announcements regarding the appointment of board members and the direction of DNB. Fahmi also said that the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission and the Malaysian Investment Development Authority will sign a memorandum of understanding very soon to expedite the adoption of 5G networks, specifically for the micro, small and medium enterprises sector. Fahmi said that more than 35% of all telecommunication users subscribe to 5G packages as of April 17th, but the adoption by the industrial sector and MSME needs to be accelerated. He added that if all goes well, then there will be some additional announcements made next week regarding the implementation of the 5G network and more details on the dual network policy. Capital A's Board of Directors has decided to extend Tan Sri Tony Fernandes' tenure as the CEO for another 5 years and as a strategic advisor to the airline's business, which is poised to be merged into AirAsia X. Fernandes says that this is just the start of a series of announcements over the next 2 weeks, but declined to reveal any additional details. He does reiterate that the plan remains to get out of Practice Note 17 status, to have a strong aviation group, and lastly, to start growing again. Fernandes says that over the next 2 years, investors and shareholders will witness the rise of 4 pillars of business born out of the AirAsia Group. Senior Independent Non-Executive Director Datuk Famli E said that Fernandes has set Capital A on the right strategic path for ongoing value creation, and the board is confident that under his guidance, the group will achieve greater milestones in the year ahead. Meanwhile, Fernandes also came out to clarify that it was Capital A's unit AirAsia Consulting that is bidding to acquire Sri Lankan Airlines, not AirAsia, explaining that if it materializes, the fund will then raise its own capital for the acquisition. Ace Market-bound Farm Price Holdings says it intends to expand into Singapore, leveraging on the strengthening Singapore dollar against the ringgit for increased market advantage while anticipating the rise in regional demand. MD Dr. Lawrence Tiong Lee Chian said the group is mainly involved in the wholesale and distribution of fresh vegetables, which it receives from both domestic and international market suppliers and stores them in a warehouse in Malaysia. He says that with demand in Singapore growing, the group plans to allocate more more resources there. However, Farm Price cited potential risks of its business operations in Singapore to include labour shortages, increasing rental costs and fluctuations in foreign exchange. In FY 2023, the group sourced 18% of its vegetable supply from local suppliers, while the remaining 82% was sourced from 5 regional suppliers, including Vietnam and Indonesia, among others. On Wednesday, Farm Price began taking orders from investors for its initial public offering on the ACE market to raise up to 32.4 million ringgit, the bulk of which will go towards working capital and the construction of new facilities. The IPO, priced at 24 cents a piece, involves a public issuance of 102 million shares as well as an offer for sale of 33 million existing shares. The application period for the IPO will close on April 30th, with the listing scheduled for May 14th. Suria KLCC's established reputation as a premier shopping destination has set it apart from other malls in the same vicinity, providing an effective buffer against new competition, according to KLCCP Staple Group CEO Datuk Mat Shah Mahmud. The capital city has seen at least 2 large mall openings recently, Pavilion Damansara Heights in October and the Exchange TRX the month after. Also slated to open in the third quarter of 2025 is Warisan Merdeka Mall at 118, which is owned by Pemodelan Nasional. Mat Shah says that while there was a risk initially, it has since stabilized. Suria KLCC's occupancy rate jumped to 98% in December 2023, while footfall rose by 30% from 2022. The mall, which added 35 new tenants last year, also saw its tenants achieving their highest moving annual turnover, growing 12% from 2022. Meanwhile, Mat Shah says that KLCCP, which is controlled by Petronas, is still on the lookout for foreign assets as part of its portfolio expansion mandate. He says that ultimately they are seeking matured assets with good yield.